Hey, welcome back to the Top 5. Coach Brian with you here in Strong Tower's Top 5 Ground-Based Flow, our ground-based movement series. So what we're going to start out with today, one of my favorites is the Shin Box. Some people call it the Z squat or the shin. But we're going to start out if you are just sitting, leaning back on the floor with your feet about shoulder width or a little wider. If we rolled one leg in and one leg out, this sets you up for Shin Box. So we have the inside of one leg contacting the ground, the outside of the other leg contacting the ground. Why is ground-based movement good? Gets you used to the position, so it also kind of necessitates up and down off the floor, which is super important as we age. And it also gives you all this nice kinesthetic feedback. So from a proprioceptive or a brain body map awareness standpoint, the ground actually gives the nerve endings more information as we touch the ground. So we're going to start out with the hands behind you in the Shin Box and pivot side to side with the hips. And so you can get an idea, how far can I go range of motion wise comfortably? How smooth does that feel? And then if you're pretty comfortable with it, or if you've done this before, maybe how fast can I actually move in and out of that? And if it's pretty easy with your hands down, there are more progressions. We have a separate video on that. But that is movement number one, the Shin Box. Number two, we have lateral rolling. And so with lateral rolling, we're going to start maybe on your back. We're going to then roll to your stomach, reaching the arms up overhead. And you'll notice that my first arm that needed to get out of the way over here, as I roll towards that side, I'm going to reach that arm overhead, bring the other one through. When I go back onto my back, I'm going to pull the arms back in towards my chest. Now I'm going to go back the other way, reaching first arm overhead, clear it, come through to the stomach, both arms overhead, back to your back. And we can just go back and forth. Or if you had a whole bunch of open space, maybe you're warming up at home or at the gym, and you really want to get some nice vestibular input, but it's also very safe vestibular input because you can't fall when you're rolling face down or back down on the ground, back and forth. So super safe. Again, a lot of feedback for all those nerve endings. It's almost like a gentle massage, right? So from there, we're going to go into side plank. And so maybe not everybody's favorite, but that's okay. It's an amazing exercise for your obliques, transverse abdominis, your shoulder stabilizers, and a little bit in the hip stabilizers too. So we're going to set up with the feet stacked on top of each other, elbow underneath the shoulder. And the full version of the plank would be to bring everything up from the elbow down to the foot, bottom foot. So that's our side plank. And then a regression, if we needed to, we could bend the knees, keep the hips forward, but push the knees now into the floor. And as we shorten that lower body lever, there's less force, so it's a little bit easier to start here. Everybody asks, what do I do with this top arm? We can actually use it to do like banded rows, maybe shoulder circles or figure eights. You could just put it on your hip. You could reach it up, and sometimes we'll catch people pushing that second hand down into the ground. So ideally, just that one elbow is down, again, right under the shoulder. We don't want excess strain on the shoulder, so I'm not putting it up towards my head. It's right underneath the shoulder joint itself. So that's the side plank. Of course, we go both sides. And then movement number 5 is the hip bridge. So by the way, a lot of these movements we can load, so additional loading with bands or weights. So the hip bridge is a good example of that, where we can throw a sandbag on the hips, a barbell, whatever progression somebody's ready for. The body weight, I'm just going to show you a 2-leg hip bridge today. We're going to get feet set shoulder width apart. We got a good healthy knee bend, ideally a little bit past 90 degrees, so that as we come up into the bridge with a little tuck in the tailbone, length through the spine, we're pushing into almost a 90-degree knee bend at the top. So that knee angle will change as we go, coming back down. And we can go for holds here. Amazing hamstring and glute exercise. We want to lengthen, thinking tailbone's getting pulled down slightly. Crown of the head is shifting up, so you're lengthening through that spine as we go into the bridge. That's the hip bridge. And also we have the last one here is the bear crawl hold. So in the bear crawl hold, I'm basically going to start in a kneeling position, A slight tuck in the pelvis. My hands, wrists are right underneath the shoulders. Knees are right underneath the hips. I'm going to dorsiflex the ankles so my toes are pressed down towards the floor. Once I'm set there, I'm basically just going to drive up with the knees ever so slightly. So the bear crawl hold, we're just kicking up into that position where the knees are hovering over the floor and then back down. So one of the common errors we'll see on this, hips will shoot way up, the knees will straighten too much. We want to maintain a good healthy knee bend, and really the knees again just hover an inch or two over the floor. We could start progressing this by lifting hands or lifting feet, or carrying a kid on your back or another weight, maybe a pet if they'll sit still. And guys, that's our top 5 series. Hope you enjoyed it and look forward to seeing you in the next top 5 video. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and all that good stuff. We'll see you next time. Thanks.